Hello everyone. In this time of global crisis, when the whole world is fighting with the pandemic of COVID-19, convalescent plasma therapy has come as a ray of hope in the management of patients suffering from the disease. Therefore, today's presentation of mine would deal with the basic facts and figures of this convalescent plasma therapy in COVID-19. Now, looking back at the history of convalescent plasma therapy, it had been used before in cases of mumps, measles, polio, and flu before the advent of vaccines for these diseases. It has also been recorded to be used as early as in 1918 in up to more than 1700 patients during the dangerous epidemic of Spanish flu. In Ebola, however, did not show much benefit in the 84 patients that were transfused with the plasma. Now let us look into some of the basic terms before going into detail about the therapy with convalescent plasma. Now what does the term convalescent mean? Convalescent means a person who is recovering from the illness. What do we mean by the term plasma? The plasma is the straw-colored acellular component of blood which is devoid of the red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. And what does then the convalescent plasma mean? It is the plasma from the patients who are recovering from any illness and therefore contains the antibodies which have been generated against the pathogen causing the disease. The convalescent plasma therapy in COVID-19 involves transfusion of the plasma of people who have had COVID-19 and have now recovered into the people who are very sick with the virus. So we will transfuse the plasma of people who have already suffered from COVID-19 but have now recovered, and we'll transfuse that plasma into the people who are now very sick and suffering from the same disease, that is COVID-19. Now, since the approval by FDA on 24th March 2020, 11 critically ill COVID-19 patients in New York City and Houston received this type of experimental treatment. And a study of 10 patients in China who have undergone this therapy showed a shortening of the duration of symptoms, improved oxygen levels, and a drop in the viral load, that is the amount of virus in the blood. Finally, the Drug Controller General of India has given its nod to a proposal by the ICMR for the clinical trial of convalescent plasma in COVID-19 patients in a meeting held on April 13, 2020. Now, who are the donors? Donors are patients who have recovered from COVID-19. And how do we define recovery? Recovery is defined by a patient who has been symptom-free for 28 days, or a patient who has been symptom-free for 14 days but has had 2 consecutive swab samples negative tested by RT-PCR, and these 2 swab samples has to be 24 hours apart. Moreover, the patient has to be more than 18 years of age, preferably males. Weight has to be more than 60 kgs, and infectious diseases screening has to be negative. That means the patient has to be hepatitis B, hepatitis C, HIV, malaria, and syphilis negative. And who are the recipients who are eligible to receive this plasma, convalescent plasma? That means the patients who have been confirmed by RT-PCR tests to be suffering from COVID-19, and they have to be critically ill. Mostly this convalescent plasma is being transfused to patients of COVID-19 who are mostly on ventilators. And those patients have to be they have to be treated in a designated COVID-19 management setup. Usually asymptomatic patients and patients with mild symptoms are usually not ideal candidates for convalescent plasma therapy. Now let us look at the procedure of how the plasma is collected. Now the plasma is collected by a procedure called apheresis. Now we have to remember that apheresis is a procedure. It is not the machine which is called apheresis. It is the procedure by which we collect the plasma is the apheresis. Now apheresis, what is apheresis? Apheresis is a procedure where blood is withdrawn from a donor in a bag containing anticoagulant solution and separated into components. Now the desired component which is required is retained, and the remaining components which are not required are returned to the donor's body. Now here, what is the desired component? The desired component is plasma. So we will retain the desired component, that is plasma, and what we do not require, that is the red blood cells, white blood cells, platelets, all those are not required, will be returned to the donor's body. Therefore, when apheresis is done to collect plasma, the procedure is called plasmapheresis. Similarly, when we use it to collect platelet, it is called plateletpheresis, and likewise. So the procedure by which we collect plasma here in this process is called plasmapheresis. Now the dosage and administration. Now with this procedure of plasmapheresis, the amount of plasma that is collected is around 400 ml of plasma, and this can be divided into aliquots of 200 ml each, because one dose is equal to 200 ml of plasma transfusion. So with 1 unit of plasmapheresis donation, we get 2 doses of plasma. So 200 ml each of plasma we get from 1 unit of donation. Now this collected plasma can be stored frozen at -40 degrees centigrade if required, and thawed before transfusion. Now the donor can again donate at an interval of 14 days. The plasma which is transfused must be ABO compatible. That means the donor and the recipient blood group should be same. Now this is the procedure, a schematic diagram as to how the whole procedure of plasmapheresis is done, where the donor is connected to that machine which does the apheresis, and the blood is collected in a anticoagulant solution containing bag, where then the desired component is retained and the remaining components are returned to the donor's body. Since here, as I told you, the desired component is plasma, we will retain the plasma outside the body in the bag, collecting bag, and will return the rest of the components of blood into the donor's body. Now, sometimes it can come to our mind that can plasma be collected in setups which do not have facilities for apheresis? Now, many of the blood banks do not have apheresis facilities in their setups. So can we, there also we collect blood, whole blood units from donors, and we separate them into blood components. And those components are plasma, packed RBCs, platelets, cryoprecipitates. So the plasma that we separate there, can we not use that plasma? So that plasma can also be separated from a random donation of a whole blood unit by a recovered patient. So a recovered patient of COVID-19 can also donate a whole blood from which a plasma unit can be separated. And that separation is done with the help of a cryocentrifuge easily, and collected where it can be collected in double bags, and then the plasma can be separated in the satellite bag and can be used. But the plasma that's thus separated is around 200 to 220 ml of plasma, which is only 1 dose of convalescent plasma. Moreover, when the recovered patient, if the recovered patient donates 1 whole blood unit, we also see that whole blood unit, if he donates a whole blood unit, he also along with that plasma, he is also donating the other cellular part of the blood as well. So there is loss of RBCs also, As a result, the donor will not be able to donate again very soon. He will only be again able to donate after 90 days if he is a male, and after 120 days if she is a female donor. And moreover, this method is not, however, recommended by the Indian Council of Medical Research in its approved protocol. So it's better not to go for this method at this moment. Now the question comes, how does this therapy help? So what is the role of convalescent plasma therapy in the treatment of patients suffering from COVID-19? Now, technically, the antibodies that are present in the donor's plasma, that is in the recovered patient's plasma, will help in neutralization of the viral antigens which are present in the patients who have been transfused. Now, it has been observed that one dose, that is 200 ml of convalescent plasma, was well tolerated and can significantly increase and maintain the neutralizing antibodies at a high level and leads to disappearance of the viral load in 7 days. Now, this was a study done by Duan et al. Very recently in the month of March 2020. And it was also observed that clinical symptoms and the laboratory parameters, they also rapidly improved within 3 days. And radiologically, it was observed that the lung lesions disappeared within 7 days. So this was the study article which I am referring to by Duan et al. Which was done in March 2020. Now the next question which comes to our mind is, how does it differ from a vaccine? Now to understand that, we have to go to the basics of immunity, that there are two forms of immunity, active and passive. Active immunity, what is it? In active immunity, antibodies that develop in a person's own immune system after the body is exposed to an antigen through a disease or when we get an immunization or a vaccine shot. So this takes time to develop, but once it develops, it lasts for a longer time. But what is passive immunity? In passive immunity, we give preformed antibodies to a person to prevent the disease or to treat the disease after the body is exposed to an antigen. So here the antibodies that we are giving to the person are preformed. Whereas in active immunity, what I told you is that the antibodies develop in the person's own immune system. So it takes time for the person to develop those antibodies by his own immune system. But in passive immunity, we are giving the preformed antibodies from outside. So this type of immunity in passive immunity is fast acting, but lasts only for a few weeks or months. So from here we can understand that vaccine is active immunity, okay, and convalescent plasma is an example of passive immunity. So in the field of convalescent plasma therapy, where does India stand now? So the Director General of Health Services, DGHS, Government of India, in its letter dated 14th of April 2020, has given its permission to the Indian Council of Medical Research to use convalescent plasma therapy as a part of a 2-arm multicentric phase 2 randomized controlled trial. So it will be a multi-center trial in phase 2, and 2-arm means there will be 2 groups of subjects for the trial. One group would be administered the convalescent plasma, the other would not be administered the convalescent plasma, and the 2 groups, so one would be the test group, the other would be the control group, and the 2 groups would be compared to see what is the difference in the recovery of the patients. So ICMR had called for applications from different institutes, and based on the applications received, they permitted, initially they had permitted 5 states, Delhi, Punjab, Gujarat, Karnataka and Kerala, and the other states are also now coming up with the, like recently Maharashtra has also started, West Bengal, the Medical College Kolkata is also going to start very soon trials for convalescent plasma therapy. The primary objective for phase 2 trials is to assess the efficacy of convalescent plasma to limit the complications in COVID-19 patients, and number 2 is to evaluate the safety of treatment with this convalescent plasma. So there are two objectives primarily: to assess the efficacy of convalescent plasma, how efficient is it to limit the complications, and second is what is its safety. Now, ICMR in its letter dated on the 19th of April, it has given some criteria as to who are eligible to conduct the trials. So the institutes have to have prior experience in conducting clinical trials. They have to have necessary expertise, equipment and infrastructure for the study. They have to be able to support the cost of care for study participants. They have to have an institutional ethics committee registered with the CDSCO. And each participating institute will have to buy trial insurance, and ICMR will reimburse the premium costs as per rules later on. So to summarize, so we have got reports, and even when you look at the when you open up the news channels, you will get to hear that institutes which have already entered the trial have reported that the patients have improved clinically, and many have been weaned off the ventilatory support. However, the trial needs to continue to give us a better and clearer picture in this regard. Therefore, although not a silver bullet, this convalescent plasma therapy can always serve as a stopgap arrangement to treat the patients in this hour of global crisis till the time the vaccine is ready to be administered. So thank you for your attention. I hope this video on convalescent plasma therapy clears many of your doubts regarding this therapy, which is going on as a trial basis all over India. So thank you all. I would love to have any queries. Please post it in the comment section. Thank you.